Can we talk about meditation?
Whatever you want.
Okay, so sometimes when I meditate in the morning, I fall asleep. I've listened to your recordings, and I wake up and I get some water and I fall asleep. Is that fine in terms of subsiding my thoughts?
Well, of course it's fine, but it's not beneficial in the way that meditation is. And here's why. Sometimes people say, when I use a particular drug, I release resistance too. And we say, you don't really release resistance, you're just not aware of it. And so the point of meditation is to allow your vibration to rise to the equivalency of your inner being. That is our definition of the purpose of meditation. Because when you meditate and consciously quiet your mind, your vibration rises. Now the difference between being asleep, which also causes momentum and resistance for the most part to subside, and does allow your vibration to rise, you have no conscious relationship with that improved energy because you're asleep. And when you wake up, there's no benefit to you because there was no conscious awareness of the improvement in the vibration. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
And think about it. If what you were talking about were true, then everybody who gets a good night's sleep or takes a nap would wake up connected to their source, and they don't. They wake up usually in the same bad mood that they went to sleep in.
That's what I thought. So then I meditate again and again, maybe twice or three times, and after the sleep, and I do touch that place.
Well, you get to do whatever you want to do, and the way you're living your life and the intentions that you hold, everything's all right. There's no right or wrong in this. But we do want to say to you, to all of you, that when you came into this physical body, you came with the intention of your conscious mind, your awake mind, being active. And so you really have trained it to be active, and it wants to be active because you're a creator. And so when you ask your mind to be quiet for extended periods of time, it's an unnatural state of being. 15 minutes is really enough. You could meditate for 15 minutes and only achieve that detached state for a minute or two or three, and that's enough. And so usually, we are not saying it's the case with you, but usually when people meditate for longer periods of time, it is to escape the discord or unpleasantness of energy that they sense that they can't control. It's a way of sort of detaching. And we understand sometimes when you come out of meditation, you want to go right back in. We get that too. We just don't want anyone to think that it's a necessary thing to meditate for long periods of time. It's usually an escape from the deliberate creation that you came here to do.
So another physical reaction that I have to dropping in to that, to alignment,
to that detached state.
Yeah, and sometimes this happens like here, or when I'm doing something like teaching, or my eyes start to water, and it's not sadness. It's just a physical reaction to alignment in an awake state.
Tears?
Yeah.
We call it overjoy. You connect with joy that you're not vibrationally accustomed to experiencing on a really regular basis. So it just sort of spills over.
Okay. If you were in our physical shoes, I know you've said often that the optimum position is to be satisfied with where you are and eager for more. Am I misquoting that?
That's exactly what we say.
Okay.
Satisfied with what is. This platform where I am and the contrast that I'm experiencing is perfect for me. And really, the reason that we encourage a decision to be satisfied with it is because the current manifestation has manifested, and there's nothing you're going to do about the current manifestation. Everything is about the more. So if you are not railing against what is, then you have a much freer opportunity to look forward to the improvement. But if you're in that step one mode all the time, pointing out the problems or what's wrong with it, then you tend to get stuck there, and you don't allow yourself to move in the way that is possible, and in the way that you desire, and in the way that's satisfaction.
So would it be safe to say that if we are in a state of feeling, emotionally feeling the state of contentment, and then waiting for a thought, an inspired thought, it would be a better place to be than, and I'm speaking for myself, but perhaps other people, thinking.
You've hit right on what we were going to say next, which means you received it. You've hit right on what we were going to say next. And that is, the whole purpose of meditation is to tune you to your tuner. And then as you are listening for what that tuning has accomplished, now you're at the doorway of your vortex, and what's in there is coming out to play with you. Yes.
So speaking about playing, last year I had my students meditating on a daily basis, and a lot of them loved it, and they wrote in their journals that
it's good because it's a progressive thing. That's why you're not asleep. You're consciously aware, but you've quieted your consciousness to not include any resistance, and your vibration rises, and you have conscious awareness of what that feels like. So your emotions are lifting at the same time. In fact, that feeling of well-being might even be what's causing you to go to sleep. That feeling of well-being, like rockabye baby, that feeling of well-being. But once you're in that place where you are feeling that, then the listening is what is so important. The listening. Esther says that these days, since we've really been emphasizing this meditation for the purpose of connection, she will sit sometimes for 10 or 15 minutes after meditation and just say, I'm just going to listen. I'm just going to listen. And what she means is listen for words, maybe, or feel for an impulse.
So the students, because I work in a public education system, and I'm a high school teacher who teaches the arts. The students are forced on the level of government to be there. Some of them love it, and some of them I never forced them to do it. I said, you can sit there, you can just listen to your music. And I also saw a lot of students.
You're talking about some of them love the experience of meditation, and some of them are not.
Yeah, because they're not vibrationally there, and I get that. And it's not something you want to force on someone, but it's something that I think is integral to
creativity.
Yeah.
Every artist or creator of things that are obvious will say that the athletes call it the zone, the artists call it sometimes the muse, the religious people call it when the spirit moves me. That alignment, you could give them an analogy. Now we understand that you're not wanting to force them or really even encourage them in a strong way, and that's a good thing. You're just wanting to offer it, and if they feel resonance with it, then that's great. But you could give them an analogy that they might enjoy. You could say to them, as an artist, I've discovered that quieting my mind a little bit hooks me into some clarity that gives me a sort of different perspective and a sort of superpower with this that maybe isn't obvious at first, but after a little while it really kicks in. And it reminds me of trying to vacuum my living room without plugging the vacuum cleaner in. I can go through all of the motions, but I really don't get the job done. And meditation will help you plug in to your true creativity, because you don't even know what your life has produced for you, students of mine, in terms of your creativity. You have no idea what's already in your offing. You don't have to use these weird sounding words to those that are not up to speed with it, but say to them, I know for sure that there is within you, you could use the word magic, magical things that will come out when you tap into them. And every successful anyone at anything has discovered somewhere along the line that it is such a small adjustment to tap into that. And say to them, that's why it astonishes me that we hold really successful masters in all disciplines in such high regard because of their rareness, when we all have the potential for that.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I know that meditation.
Isn't it exhilarating, doesn't it? Now think about it. So don't go to that, I haven't been good at this place.
Yeah.
Just think about the leverage of alignment.
Yes. Yes.
Just think about that.
I know that if I meditated like Esther does, that my whole world would change.
But don't put a heavy burden on it like Esther. She's really good at this.
Yeah.
Her grandson, who teaches her everything about her new phone. She texts him in the night, Luke, how do I turn on the flashlight on this new phone? And he texts back exactly what to do. In other words, they have a really good relationship because he knows more about so many things than she does, about things like that. So when you are in a place where you want something that isn't coming the way you want it to be, and you understand that you've got someone who does know exactly where you are and exactly what you want, you just have to relax, and that information comes to you easily. The information is right there ready for you to receive it. Right there ready for you to receive it. So when we talk about meditating, we're talking about just quieting your mind. So Luke, Esther's guide about some fun things, because Esther was talking to him about how she likes to meditate. And he was asking a little bit about, what's it about? And Esther said, it's really just about not thinking about anything for a little while. And Luke thought about that, but he couldn't imagine not thinking about anything. He has a really active mind, and most of what he thinks about is pretty interesting to him. He's very happy. And so Esther said, you know what I like to do? I like to listen to the sound of the air conditioner. And so in a little while, she gets a text from him, and it's a link to an app. And the app is called Rain. And she downloaded it, but it has all the sounds in the world. It has white noise, pink noise, brown noise, air conditioner noise, central air it's called. It's got fan noise, it's got waterfall noise, it's got cascading waterfall noise, it's got trickling stream noise. It's got every sound in the world that will play indefinitely. If Esther sets it, when she wakes up in the morning, it's still playing that noise. And so all you have to do is find something. So Esther likes that app now because it's consistent. She can pick something. She plays around with it until she finds something that feels resonant, and then just listens to it. And before she knows it, her mind is quiet and she is in alignment. It is the simplest thing in the world to do. Just focus upon something that is not very interesting, and your mind will quiet. And when your mind quiets, you know what will happen? Your inner being's mind will be dominant in that moment, because you are never separated from your inner being. You are always an extension of your inner being. So when you do something that stops the chatter, guess what you get? The clarity of who you really are. That is the simple explanation of the value of meditation. It hooks you up to who you really are and what you really know. And if we were standing in your physical shoes, nothing else would do for us. Nothing else would do. Oh, I can't meditate. Can you listen to the air conditioner? Can you? Not in this room. You'll need an app. You see what we're getting at?
Absolutely.
So you quiet your mind and up you go, and now you're connected, and now you have clarity. Now you're wiser. So something else?
I don't think so.
We don't think so either.
Thank you.